All right, so I don't know if this is... Okay, yes, it is. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is Friday the 20th of February, AD 2026. And I'm live on YouTube, I believe, right? Hello, y'all. I'm live on pilled.net, presumably on Facebook and IG, and looks like I'm live on punchy.tv/Hake. Good morning, Jim in Alaska, sir. I ought to be streaming on... Yep, it looks like I'm live on rumble.com/the Hake Report/live. Hello, Rob D. Jane says, Buddy 1205, Jules Verne, Pastor Chatelet, and all of y'all. Denbro, run, it's Hake. I saw your comment, Denbro. You like being behind on the Jesse Lee Peterson show so that you can skip Hake news. I don't blame you. Some people like Hake news. Others wish that it didn't exist. What's up, Black Nationalist? Homesteader Nick? The views expressed here do not represent those of me, even. I don't even represent myself. Nor Bond, of course, nor JLP, nor Anchor Baby, Kurt, Derek, American Anchor Baby, The Fallen State, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay? So relax. Take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Look at that. That's nice, huh? But that's not mine. If you... Here, let me turn that off so that you can check out the Hake Report website. I show it to you almost every day. TheHakeReport.com. And I'm streaming here. And you can see the Super Chat over here on the YouTube, as well as on Rumble. Hello, y'all. Hake News is cool, says somebody. I think I saw it. This is Rob D. Very nice. We're going to get going here, allegedly. If you'd like to call in, 1-888-775-3773. Some of you are already on hold, I believe. And I will try to get to all of y'all. I wasn't able to yesterday. I think I got to all the Super Chats yesterday. What happened to Jesse today? He had a false start on the stream. We did a test stream, and we noticed something wrong. And fixed it, but it messed up the beginning of the show. So we'll get it straightened out for next time, you know? So it did, the Jesse Lee Peterson show did indeed occur on all platforms, I believe. But the initial video, we had to nix it on the YouTube channel. Okay, that's what happened. But other than that, although it was a rough start, it was a beautiful show. Okay, so make sure that you check it out if you missed it. I recommend it. Some great highlights there. You can always check thehakereport.com. Lately, I've been pretty good about putting the Jesse Lee Peterson show, the Hake Report, and other things up. You know, my notes from those shows. Okay, so am I pretty well set to go? Let me double check over on a couple of things here. I'm live on Facebook. Indeed, I see it. Not that you have to go there. You're welcome to. I will more likely see your chat there, per capita. Oh, are you looking for... Okay, never mind. It should be fine, as far as I can tell. Nice. Anyway, y'all, I think I'm pretty well set to go. So, let's just get right on with the AJ Gallardo original theme song, Show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report.
AJ Gallardo original theme song. I know I am. I'll try to get to y'all's calls so you don't get ticked. Because sometimes you callers, you have to be on hold, you get ticked. And I'm not just talking about one, I'm talking about multiple.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how y'all doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my my shirt that you guys have sometimes seen there. It's pretty cool. It's a King of the Cage shirt. I was walking around with this shirt, or maybe the other one, the one with the American flag and the American eagle, at the airport some years back, and the security guard, wise guy security guard, he wasn't even really being a wise guy. He was just speaking honestly. He's like, you don't look like a cage fighter. I'm like, what do you mean? I feel like I have the body type of a potential cage fighter. What you mean I don't look like a cage fighter? I don't remember if that was when I was fatter or skinnier. I think I was fatter probably at that point. So I was probably kind of clearly out of shape. I never know what I look like. But funny, King of the Cage, shout out. You can't get this. It's one of my friends from high school, my old buddies from high school, participated in that old MMA stuff. I watched him get rocked. Whew, traumatizing. Because he's a wrestler, and you shoot in, and then they bear down the weight on you, and then when you get up, bam, they clock you. I disclaim and perhaps even disavow such violence. It's horrible. But let me get to, by the way, I have been exercising, though. I have been exercising. And I'm mentioning this because I have this caller to whom I'm going to get shortly here, who exercises himself. He's fit. He's not fat. And he, along with many of you guys, have exhorted me over my 12 to 13 push-ups. And I do them slowly. They're quality push-ups. I don't have them raised, but I'll do like fingertips and then knuckles, fist, and then just flat. I used to not do the flat because you know how it can hurt your wrists if you're weak or lame or whatever. And that's why I would do like on my fists, like that. Or on my knuckles anyway, this part of my fingers, and I would do fingertips too, a little. But now I have incorporated. I'm doing like 3 to 4 dips. You proud of me? And it's below parallel. I'm pretty sure, although I can't see myself. Exercise. I don't work out, but I exercise sometimes. So that's just a little explanation for. In preparation and to impress, I'm sure he's very impressed, Michael in Canada, who's on the line over here. Michael, thank you for calling, sir, and holding.
Ooh, and all we ask of us is we give each other love. Man, you make me wait 8 minutes.
Indeed.
Way too much, man.
That's right.
God. Now, bro, you know that I love you.
Yeah.
But you broke my heart, man.
How so?
I thought we was friends.
Oh.
You don't want to hang out with me? You don't want to hang out with Ronnie?
Oh, that's funny,
What?
man.
Did I ever disrespect you, Hake? Never. I've always been good to you.
You laughed at me when I said I do my 10 push-ups slowly.
Yeah,
but I did not take that as disrespect. No, you have never disrespected me. That's true.
So, man, why?
I didn't say I don't want to hang out with you and Ronnie.
$7 grand from these people?
I just said that I didn't
Kevin.
want to pick between you and Ronnie. These are two callers, friendly callers, so-called, and then these antagonistic callers who are, I forget if Hayden was one of them, but Mark, confrontational Mark, whom everybody appreciates for his confrontational approach. But you can't make me pick between callers.
Yes, I can.
I love you all the same. I don't play favorites. That's what a Christian does.
Come on, man.
I know.
You know, Mark, he's cool, but he will pound your head all day long with this. It's true. And he's always saying to you that you suck. And then when he was with Aiden, yeah, but when he was with Aiden on the same phone calls, he was agreeing with Mark. Like, what the? One thing that I love Mark. I understand. But, you give him a platform to express himself. And there's nowhere in the world, maybe, that he can do that but on your show. So have a little bit more respect for my brother Hake. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
Because, like when you spew all this hatred, a lot of people won't take it, man.
Yeah.
Especially the mainstream media. We know it's true, man, but you're preaching to you're preaching to people who already know this.
That's true. That's true. And you know what? What's funny is, I don't know if he's aware, but a lot of the stuff that he says about Jewish people and stuff like that.
My favorite people.
I already agree with him about it.
I know, but and you know the thing when I don't even care if you get $7,000 from these Jews.
Nice.
Who cares, man?
That's right.
Even if I know it's not true.
I don't even disclose whether Mark donates or not. People are trying to get nosy about whether Mark donates and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, it's not your business. It's not anybody's business who donates where. You're not supposed to reveal your donors. It's their privacy. And I get that there's sometimes these disclosure laws for major players or something like that, or campaigns or whatever. But every donation does not taint your message. It doesn't affect your message. In fact, it's quite possible that no donation affects your message if you're actually led by what's right. So, nice.
Yeah, because you don't know where these people is going to spend it. And if you got that $7,000 from these Jewish people, maybe you'll donate it to Bound.
That's right.
So, so it's all right. It's like when Ronnie said, I could take it as money and give it to what you said to Ronnie. Like, you can take the money for the KKK cake.
Right.
And donate it to the what's the name of this organization, like the Black People Organization?
The NAACP or Bond?
Right.
Or Bond is a
but yeah, it's a good one, but not like the NAACP. Like, these people are crazy, man.
Right.
That's what I wanted to say, like, on my super chat, when I said that these people are not better than these black folks trying racism at a drop of a hat, because they are angry. I mean, you can hear it in their voice.
True.
And you got to let God make his way, man. I know it's not cool, it's not fun, but if you want to do something to be a change, you got to do things to be the change. Like, go to these places, become a governor, become a politician, become a great entrepreneur. And because, we can hate the Jews all we want, but these people have taken their responsibility by their hands, They are doing everything against the law when it comes to civil rights. But, they got the good hand. They do the best thing for them, and it's working. And, when it was time to do something, it was in 1960, but you didn't have enough balls to do it. And
Guts.
now we are where we are.
Let's
right
call
now.
them guts for the sake of the ladies and the kids, I guess.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Tennis balls.
Right.
But yeah. And you know, the thing with like 7K, like, I mean, it's not like your show is viewed by 100,000 people a day. Like, I don't want to disrespect you, Hake, but it's not that big of a show. Like, you're that influential in the world. Like, you've never been to Israel.
No,
and these people need to take you out to Israel to make those kind of a deal.
I think the Jews quite possibly have seen the potential. It's it Hake.
Yeah. Use a good one. You're a little bit too much. You're too a pacifist of a Christian.
Yeah.
But I like that, and I respect you a lot, Hake. I'm not here to glaze you or whatever, but if you are the way you are in real, like on your show in real life, and you got these principles, it's truly respectable, man. To be honest, because I don't know anybody who's a Christ-like person like you, and I respect you a lot, man. Because I'm a sinner, so I know what I'm talking about. You know, I just went to court today, and I'm a free man again and again, and we'll see.
Right on.
But,
that's good to hear, sir. I definitely wish you well.
And you know, if one day I come to California, you better hang out with me, man.
That's funny, man. Well, you're definitely welcome to come to church anytime. And
so that means we're gonna hang out after that. Yeah, I know. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So, and I'm gonna say, like, he's angry because, you know, I was playing when I said, you made me wait 1 hour. I'm a working man. You want to take these welfare calls?
Oh yeah.
I was playing. You know, I was playing. I don't even care. I was at work with my headphones on, so I was listening to the show anyway.
And you got me with the click.
Yeah.
Which was a good
that was
troll.
a good one.
Well, thank you, sir.
And,
I appreciate hearing from you as always.
I just want to say something, Hake.
All right.
You know, he's always hating on you for waiting, but Ronnie, he put on a good show. He's gaslighting everybody in here.
He definitely gets the people going. It's kind of like maize. Some people can't stand maize, and I sort of relate to it because I used to get, and sometimes I occasionally still do, provoked by maize. And I wonder if she takes some glee in provoking people to anger. You know how black people they're pretty good trolls. They're good at trolling you. And so
yeah,
I think that Ronnie is
thing.
a little like that in that he's just so hard-headed. He gave me a great coffee. By great, I mean big coffee. And I'll be reading that later today, if it be the Lord's will.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, I'm like, he's playing. But after that, he's called another day, and I'm like, maybe he's not playing.
Right. I really don't think he is.
Oh, you know, I like him still.
Yeah. That's
so,
right.
hey, have a nice day, Hake. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Take care. Oh, you got me. I was ready for it, though. I had mentally braced my ears, if it's possible to do. Nice. Joe's a first-time caller from New York. I'll get to your super chats, y'all, soon.
Hi, Hake.
Hey.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, finally get on to speak to you. My thing is, what does it mean to be a conservative in today's world? Because I've been listening to the conversation over the past couple of weeks with Ronnie and Mack and I can't remember everybody's name, but but Ronnie said he voted for Obama. He voted for Joe Biden. Definitely, he's not a conservative. I think he's infatuated by the idea his grandparents was conservatives and you know, and he liked the way that they live, and he liked it, you know. But he's not a conservative. I don't think he is. I think Mark, I like Mark a lot. I think his anger is righteous. You know, he was wrong on only two things that I listened from him so far. He was wrong on on talking about Malcolm X. I think Malcolm X was he didn't see the vision that Malcolm X had, but Malcolm X pretty much wanted like black people to stay independent and do their own thing. I mean, which we all agree that they would have been better off right now, like today in today's world. And he's wrong about the JFK thing. Oswald wasn't the trigger man for JFK. If you do the research, a guy named Mack Wallace, you could Google it, known hitman for LBJ. It could be a conspiracy, as everybody could say, but I mean, that's the guy. More evidence is pointing towards that guy than Oswald. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Mack Wallace. He was a known hitman for LBJ. If you see, he did a crime previously. He murdered somebody 5 years before the murder of JFK. And he got out. LBJ freedom when he got the conservative thing. I don't think, like, I'm a conservative. I remember when I first registered to vote, my sisters and them, which is older than me, they told me, they say, you're a Democrat and you just have to vote Democrat. And I never really paid attention to what's going on, you know, and like, I didn't even understand what voting was about, but I know that my family just told me that I was a Democrat, and to myself, I was like, all right, I'm a Democrat. But as time passed and I see that everything they was doing, like Obama and all of them, that didn't align with me or what I felt, what my beliefs. So over a period of time, I just broke away from that. I started to think for myself, and I'm a conservative. I'm super conservative, if you want to say. I mean, I voted for Donald Trump all the time, but I mean, I'm not really, right now, I'm not 100% on board with everything he's doing, but I still would vote for him if he ran again, or I'd still vote for J.D. Vance or your guy, Fuentes.
Nice. So you would be in favor of our future president?
Yes, I'm totally in support of him. But you know, we have a situation here in New York where the new mayor, Mamdani, which got who got 40% of the kosher vote in New York. He's proposing a 9.5 tax hike on properties, and everybody's railing against him. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody's railing against him. Because he's looking into the cities are going like I have a $12 million balance, like deficit budget, $12 billion, sorry, and so he's looking at raising property taxes, and that's not really going down too well with the people over here. So we'll see how that plays out.
Interesting.
But other than that, you know, I really like the show, Hake. The show is great. It's really great. You know, you don't even know it. You know.
I appreciate it,
you
sir.
You don't even know.
Okay, so you've given me a few things. So first, to get to your question, what does it mean to be conservative nowadays?
Yes.
To me, it means the same thing that it always has, I think, okay? In that conservatives are okay with Christians, whether or not they're Christians themselves. They are okay with Christians, with conservative Christians, meaning they're not for so-called same-sex marriage, they're not for abortion, generally. They're for a smaller government, a freer people. You have the right to discriminate, ideally. Some conservatives may disagree.
Agree.
Things like that. The government doesn't get to spend all kinds of money except to protect ourselves and maybe to establish and to, you know, deal with our borders and get crime back under control, because crime is at like national emergency levels and probably has been for 50 or 60 years. We shouldn't have allowed it to get this out of control, but now it's like the new normal, you know, and it doesn't have to be that way. But so law and order, a free country, a secure country, a country that's fine with white people and that's actually fair to all races, you know, because white people tend to be fair to all races, I think, to a fault,
True.
actually. And but fair is not the fairness that the liberals have, you know. So the liberals have a fake fairness where we let in equal amounts or prioritize the foreigners and all that stuff and illegals and blacks and women and stuff. Men lead in conservatism, not women. So in that sense, I agree with that criticism of Trump putting women, propping up women in leadership. But you know, males so often are so dysfunctional. That's what conservative means to me. But conservatism, as our future president said, what have they conserved? And many others. What have conservatives conserved? Nothing. They've become basically to where Ronnie can call himself conservative because Ronnie has caved to all the liberal and communist arguments in favor of so-called same-sex marriage. Not all of them, but some of them.
Exactly.
So not that he is in favor of it, but he's like he justifies the country's supposed right to do it, or the gays' supposed right to do it, and that's crazy talk. That's communism. That's not conservatism, but that's what conservatism means. The conservatives cave to everything the liberals and the communists have pushed. So conservative means nothing in today's world.
I think Ronnie might want to be a conservative, but the way he comes across is like he's pushing for all of these like gay, LGBTQ, TIA plus, and talking about all of these stuff. He knows deep down this is not real being a conservative, but
yeah,
I think he's influenced maybe by his wife or somebody that he's trying to please. I think it seems like he's trying to please a certain base because he keeps saying, I'm a conservative. Oh, I like the conservative of my grandparents, but he keeps trying to please. He can't play both sides, and I don't think he realizes that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. He's trying to play both sides.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what he's doing, but there's definitely some trick of the mind. You know, he's listening to the intellect, and I don't think that's can be questioned, really. He's listened to the intellect to where he thinks it's bad for society to discriminate and deprive people of the right to do wrong. Yeah, we do have some. You do let people be wrong. The government even lets people be wrong on some things, but this is not one of the things that I don't think that even I don't think that it doesn't even make any sense because in practice the gays have always been like some gays have probably always been living together and pretending like they're husband and husband or whatever, but that doesn't and so nobody really is imposing on their rights except when they get. The thing that tricks people, I don't know if this is the one that tricked Ronnie, is when one of them gets sick, the other one can't see him or something like that because he's not actually family or married. Or you don't actually get their inheritance or something like that. But that's all like stuff that people don't live their lives right and people don't set their lives up well. And that's why he fell for Obamacare too, because people don't set up their lives well, and the government involvement in this, in the healthcare, is part of what drove up the costs of Obamacare. I know I'm getting into some other topic. Yeah.
The introduction of Obamacare in like when was that? 2011, I think it was, or 2010.
Something like that.
That was the beginning of the end of healthcare in this country, because I remember from my job. Yeah. My business manager told us we used to have unlimited benefits. He told us because we had really good health care. He said we have to give right now because we're gonna get the work from the government, but we have to pay back. We have to pay more into the health care for those who can't afford health care. They gave us some kind of BS story, but I mean that was. And after that, I just start seeing the ripple effects. You know, they are seeing that how bad detrimental Obamacare was to the rest of people paying for health care, and they don't even realize it, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, but Obama is not a good guy, you know. I mean,
true.
And I don't know why people can't see past his charm, as they say. He's very charming. You know, that's all. Every time you ask somebody why they like Obama, all they always say is, "Oh, he's so charming and he speaks so pleasantly and all of these things." But they just not seeing past that, and he's black, I guess. You understand? That's all it is. I don't know. It's crazy, but this is the time we're living in. I hope we take a big turn sooner than later, and things start looking back. People start really seeing all of these. Do what you want. It can't really work, and we need to get back to a place where we stand for something. We have, for conversation's sake, I know there's no values, but values, and we stand for morals, and we come back to what this country was really about from the beginning, what the founding fathers wanted us to be about.
Are you Jamaican, or what are you?
Yeah, I'm from the Caribbean. Yeah, you can hear my accent very well.
Yeah, I can hear a Caribbean accent.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
But I would like to believe I speak in proper English. I know.
No, you are. It is proper English. It just has an accent to it.
Yeah, yeah. Happy birthday to Bond too.
Yeah, right on, man. Appreciate that.
Right
What's your qualm about Trump?
I don't like that he seemed like he's giving the billionaires, the Zuckerbergs and the Gates and all, and Ellison and all of these guys. He's giving them too much. He's giving them more control than they already have. We know that the Zuckerberg gave how many, like $500 million against him in the 2020 election. Gates did a similar thing, hundreds of millions, and all of these guys is now coming and trying to rub shoulders with him and act like they're so conservative and they want the country to be better. But
yeah,
all of these guys was guys imposing by banning people on social media. All of this control they want to have over people. Gates with the COVID business, we could see information coming out about him and Epstein. It's so much stuff that those guys did like they did before, but now they come in and acting like, oh, I'm America first, I'm MAGA, I'm you understand? I don't really even identify with MAGA no more because I feel like it's so many imposters coming to the MAGA.
True.
They want to be part of MAGA.
Yep.
It's a lot of people who was never MAGA and now they're saying, I'm MAGA, one for Trump. So you don't even know the real ones from the fake ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like people saying, "Oh, I never wanted to talk about it before because I afraid I would have gotten silence from my job or from this." But it's like I just don't believe it. I just don't see it. I think we need to show it with our actions. Where we really stand. But I think Trump is pandering too much to the billionaires, to the billionaire class, and a lot of the things is the working people that put him there. Is the people that want to the working people that put him in back into government, because a lot of people give up on him when he had the cases in New York, the fake cases brought against him. A lot of people was like, oh, he shouldn't run, he should get out of the way, and for DeSantis or for whoever it was. And I stood behind him because I know all of the charges was fake, but now he's not make a lot of the bills or a lot of the stuff he could have done to help the working class people. I think he's moving too slow on it. And Pam Bondi, I think she's not getting anything done really. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Patel, I think that they could be more aggressive. I mean, because these people is like they're gonna get back. It's election. We don't know what's gonna happen in November this year.
Right.
And yeah, and even in 2028, we don't even know what's gonna happen. And these people, once they get back in power, they're gonna do the worst. They're bad people,
I got you, sir.
They're bad people. They're bad people, and they have bad intentions, and they all, even though some of them is out of government, like Hillary Clinton and like Susan Rice and all of these, and Obama and all of these people, they still the ones pulling the strings on the Democrat Party.
Right.
They still the ones they basically telling all their minions what to do. You understand? So it's like they're gonna come back around, and it's like they living through like a fifth and a sixth term. We know Biden was Obama's third term.
Right.
So it's the same thing gonna happen again. So we need to prosecute these people. You understand? We need to prosecute them cut off all whatever it is that they're getting, the security or whatever grants are still, they have all these nonprofits still getting all of these money from the government. We need to cut off all of that, And if you take that money away, at least you take some of their power away. But, it's like, I don't know. Trump is moving too slow for me, and like I wish he would do more. The illegal the immigration thing, I don't know.
Okay.
When say he should have done like 5 million already, but I don't know. He's getting a lot of pushback because you see he lost the court the case about the tariffs. The Supreme Court ruled against him. It's like the courts is what's running the country. It's not really the president don't have no power no more because every little move he make, the court's gonna push back against it, or people gonna get the courts involved. So I don't understand what's going on right now. So I'm just an observer. I'm observing right now.
Fair enough.
That's about. Yeah, but I don't want to tie you up all day. I know you have your regulars to call in like Mack and Ronnie and
No worries, sir. You're welcome to call in. You're welcome to call in anytime, every day, if you want. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your time. I'm always listening, Hake. Thanks for your time. Thanks for taking my call today. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. You as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Nice. Before I get back to your calls, I wanted to rant just a touch on this thing that I saw in the Hake news. I mentioned it sort of in passing. I squeezed it in at the end of the Hake news in hour 2. So you couldn't get away from it, Danbro. A federal judge accuses the Trump administration of terrorizing immigrants. And so if I search terror, federal so-called judge, there's ICE, I guess, law enforcement officers, not necessarily ICE, stand in the street to allow vehicles to leave U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility during a protest in PDX, Portland, Oregon, October 2025. Okay, yeah, because Portland is so out of control that they need soldiers on the roof and in the streets. Soldiers and cops. Evil Portland. Shout out. Federal so-called judge accuses the Trump administration of terror against immigrants in a scathing ruling. It's a Biden judge. I looked it up. A woman, 54 years old. Sunshine is her name. Sunshine Sykes. Sunshine Suzanne Sykes, I believe. A federal so-called judge accused the administration of recklessly violating the law in their effort to deport millions of people living in the country illegally, citing the deaths of Renee Good. And she put an accent over one of the E's there, but they didn't put it. And Alex Preti in Minnesota. The judge said the White House had extended its violence on its own citizens. So it's really dumb. And I'll share with you that in a sec. U.S. so-called district judge Sunshine Sykes out of the boonies east of L.A., not total boonies, but Riverside County, okay? Riverside judge, Riverside, California. We welcome you to Riverside. Had violated her December ruling. The administration had violated her December ruling. So this woman, I'm going to allege, okay, so info may be false, okay, popcorn. She's on a power trip. She's an activist judge, sir, and I'm not going to look at her ruling, but I'll look at her words and her face and everything else. Well, her face is very fine, beautiful. Very beautiful, ugly, in the inside, evil woman. Illegally denying many detained immigrants a chance for release. Immigrants, illegals, okay, for the most part. She ordered U.S. Department of Homeland Security to provide them notice that they may be eligible for bond and then give them access, communist buzzword, to a phone to call an attorney within an hour. Under past administrations, people with no criminal record could generally request a bond hearing before an immigration judge while their cases wound through immigration court unless they were stopped at the border. Our greatest president, Trump's White House, reversed that practice. Homeland Security, see? Trump reversed that practice. There's all kinds of things that Trump and his administration are doing to facilitate us deporting more, and like we've never seen. And then there's pushback like we've never seen. The Homeland Security Department said in a statement the so-called Supreme Court had repeatedly overruled lower courts on the issue of mandatory detention. ICE has the law and the facts on its side, and it adheres to all court decisions until it ultimately gets them shot down by the highest court in the land, the statement said. And if I go over here, pardon this ad, far-left extremist anti-American AP, federal judge accuses Trump administration of terror against immigrants. So if I go down here, I think you can see the quote. The threats posed by the executive branch cannot be viewed in isolation, she said, in a scathing decision Wednesday. She also threw out some September ruling that the administration had cited for continuing mandatory detention policy. More than 20,000 habeas corpus cases have been filed since Trump's inauguration. So these evil, un-American lawyer-liar groups, activist lawyer-liar groups have been pushing in the courts. Like Joe mentioned, Joe from New York, by way of the Caribbean. The courts are trying to run the country. Sykes, nominated by Joe Biden, said Americans, so-called, have expressed deep concerns over unlawful. Who said that it's unlawful? According to who? Wanton acts by the executive branch beyond its terror against non-citizens. So that's a political word, terror. The executive branch has extended its violence to its own citizens, killing 2 American citizens. Renee, see, she put the little accent there. Good, over the first E. The first, second E, whatever. And Alex Pretty in Minnesota. And Renee, we all know by now, except for the most tender-hearted and silly shout out. People know that was a justified shoot, and Alex Pretty, we all know, got himself in that situation. He was the one who provoked the violence and was violent in the days before. May not have been justified in that specific instance, but it was an honest mistake. And that's what happens when you fight the law, which he of course was doing. These evil people. What about the terror of evil Black Lives Matter and Antifa? And these communists. What about the terror of the illegals? It's not terror what they're doing. That's an evil woman. So let me show you. Sunshine Sykes. There's that woman. I'm like, is this an American Indian name? Is that why her name is Sunshine? Or was she like the child of hippies? Because, flower children called their children all kinds of things. Born in 1974, very well could be a child of hippies. Don't know. Oh, yeah, Navajo Nation Reservation. Okay, yeah, so she's American Indian. Partly, I guess. Yeah, and so she's a Biden judge. Which is Obama judge, part 3, Appointed by evil Jerry Brown. Which Jerry Brown, junior or senior? The junior. Judge Joe. Ed. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Born in Arizona. Went to Stanford. An evil woman. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, So all of this criticism about Trump and his deportation numbers, I don't think that even our future president could do what Trump is doing. And I really admire our future president. I have the utmost respect and love for our future president. All right, so a few super chats, y'all. Little talk, a little super chats. Back to your calls, hopefully. Seesaw, Hake, can you ban Kevin Howe for his blasphemy in the chat? Angry, red-faced emoji. Blasphemy is, all blasphemy will be forgiven. Blasphemy is okay. Jesus said it. Jesus said blasphemy will be forgiven, except for against the Holy Spirit. And I don't believe that Kevin Howe has blasphemed against the Spirit. So, no, I can see Sal. To answer your question, yes, I can. Or can I? I can't bring myself to do it, so I guess I can't. I physically am capable, I'm quite sure, but spiritually I cannot. Moses P, so correct. Donors or anyone who gives private should remain private. That's right, Moses P. Birdie Bound B gave a salute. Thank you, sir. Very nice. And I did get these massive super chats on Buy Me a Coffee. Popcorn. If you'll recall, I recently highlighted the somewhat knee-jerk catch-all use of the term activist judges. Yeah, I just reprised it there for you, Popcorn. As it relates to the Great White Hope's actions being blocked or struck down by so-called courts. Well, here we are again today, the Supreme Court. No, Hake, not the so-called Supreme Court. I can still call it the so-called Supreme Court. Try and stop me, Popcorn. What's going on over here? Here, let me refresh. Something's funny. What is this? Here. Let's hope that that's not happening. Oh, interesting. Here. It's going haywild. Not the so... Well, I'll just do this. Yeah. But in the meantime, thank you, Derek is going to talk to somebody. I might just close and reopen my Chrome, but I can read it out loud over here. Popcorn says, today the Supreme Court, no, Hake, not the so-called Supreme Court, ruled that his sweeping emergency tariffs are illegal. And he shares a CNN article, Supreme Court on tariffs. Here's a few basic facts. Popcorn, you and your facts. You don't have the whole truth with your facts. I'll let you know that. One, the majority opinion for the decision was written by John Roberts. Okay, so phony rhino liberal. So that's not a real decision. Not a righteous decision, I can tell you already. Just call me Mark. It might be okay now, okay? It might be okay. I closed and reopened my thing there. I closed and reopened it, so it's probably fine. Pardon the strange interlude here. 2, the majority decision is available for public consumption online, which I'm not going to bother with. It's a waste of time. 3, Justice Roberts, Sotomayor, Kagan, Gorsuch, Barrett, and Jackson were part of the majority. So all the worst ones. Yeah. Yeah, none of the real ones. Justice Kavanaugh, he's one of the good ones that Trump appointed. If any of them are good. Although he likes beer, he was better than Gorsuch, who is more fit looking and better looking, but sometimes that just means he's more of a liberal. Thomas and Alito were part of the dissent. So those guys are almost always right there, Popcorn. Almost always those guys are right, especially Thomas and Alito. The court's decision basically came down to the fact the Supreme Court only gives Congress taxing and tariff power, and the law the president invoked, i.e. EPA, does not clearly authorize the tariffs. The decision is quite lengthy. There are a plethora of free AI tools you can feed the decision that will produce an easily digestible summary or digestible summary. In fact, you can get the summary at a scholarly level, 6th grade civics level. 4th grade is what most of us can read, actually, and comprehend. People, you're supposed to speak at I think 5th grade, actually. Ted Cruz speaks at like a 7th or 8th grade level. I remember this from Trump 2016 era. Trump speaks at a 4th grade level that everybody can understand. Ted Cruz speaks at a hoity-toity 7th or 8th grade level, and it's better to speak at a 4th grade level. Okay? I'm not interested in details, but I scowl at the decision is an interesting combination. Yeah. Willful ignorance, asks Popcorn. We shall see, but I contend that here's why the Supreme Court got it wrong is a much stronger argument than catch-all labels. What are your thoughts, Hake? An opinion/take on the court's decision, or is it too early for you? I'll be very interested to see how the Great White Hope reacts to the news. And he shares the press secretary little thing here. See if President Trump will hold a press briefing on the Supreme Court tariff decision at 12:45 Eastern Time. That has just started, apparently, if he was on time. They posted that at noon, right as I was starting my show. And it's 9:51, which means it's 12:51 Eastern. And so he may or may not have started his decision. Stop the presses. Anyway, not too interested, Popcorn, sir. I generally think Trump is right and these courts are wrong. If Alito and Thomas and Kavanaugh are against their the majority decision, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they are right, okay? And Trump is right, and not the majority Supreme Court. And it's not willful ignorance, because it's willful ignorance is when you need to, when you have a duty, when you ought to know the ins and outs of their stuff. But communists will write a whole book and claim, you didn't read my book, when the whole book is communist. So give me a break. You know what I mean, Popcorn Bean? Popcorn flavored jelly bean. Butter popcorn flavored jelly bellies. The best. Yeah, so not interested, Popcorn. If you're really interested, which I doubt you are. Or are you? Because remember, I told him to go refer to the people who are actually interested. You know, there are conservative lawyers who actually go through and debunk everything. So go to them. There are conservative and actual honest lawyers aplenty. Read their stuff. You're gonna get down home, real life. We tell the simple, plain truth without needing all your mess till you talk and write us to death from the Hake Report. And a little bit of intellectualism. Okay, so nice. Popcorn. Glitch, and so-called Supreme Court. It is so-called. Give me a break. I don't have time to get to Ronnie yet because we're coming to the top of the hour. The lines are full, y'all. And let me just make sure that I have things right. Josh in Georgia on the line here. Josh, thank you for calling, sir. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
Yeah, wanted to talk about not judging brainwashed people.
Nice.
Because that seems like the whole thing that's going on with your show and with everything going on in America is that all of us are basically like indoctrinated and brainwashed.
Yeah.
In some places, you know, and it's like, that's what I do when I watch your show. Like, we all love Mark and Ronnie and that back and forth, but you think we're judging them? By,
a lot of times, yeah.
Like, even unconsciously, you know, because it's like, I know when Mark is everyone's favorite caller, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I notice about myself that I perk up when his call comes in, because I want to hear everything he's going to say, you know. And I wonder, am I judging him? You know, because I do see flaws in him. I agree with him on most of the stuff he's saying.
Yeah.
But I see contradictions the same way I see in Ronnie, you know, the same way I see in all of the callers, even me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I wonder, are we better off not pointing it out, or because that's what you seem to do this very well, where it's like you're not taking anybody's side. And I remember Hayden said it almost sounds like you're kind of two-faced. You're being two-faced sometimes because you're kind of like moderating.
Uh-huh.
And that's what makes your show really good, you know, because that I think you should just let anybody, liberal, conservative, let them call in, let them speak their mind, and just it's very entertaining, man.
Yeah.
But entertaining does entertaining mean I'm judging? You know, because that's what makes something entertaining. If it feels good for me to watch, maybe I'm judging everybody.
Yeah, it's one of those things you got to watch yourself. Just keep on paying attention to you. Come back to present. We often lose ourselves, I would say, if I can use the we. Let's say this. I often lose myself in a conversation, and it goes, and you know, I'm not, and then I'm just not sure what went wrong, or if something went wrong, or what.
Yeah.
Or if I did something wrong, and because I wasn't aware, and now I'm not sure.
Right. You have a lot more experience at it than the average person just from doing this show.
Yeah.
You know, like.
True.
Yeah.
You know what? When I used to listen to radio show hosts, I would get irritated that they wouldn't pounce on every little thing, you know, because there was so many different things that a caller or a person in a news report or whatever clip that they were playing would say that was wrong, and yet they would just let it slide. And you know, after I talk with Ronnie from Ohio for the third or fourth time about so-called same-sex marriage, or I talk with Mays for the nth time about this or that. We talked about it a little on Punchy with Kurt, how I just kind of let the black collars walk over me. Some of that, maybe, I don't know if he's referring to that, but some of it, you just let them say something that's like a false information. Okay, so like Joe from the Caribbean, I could have pushed back on him about whether Bill Gates did anything wrong with Epstein, you know, because I don't.
Right.
I haven't even had the interest to look into it, but I sincerely doubt that there is any actual evidence against him.
Right.
And there's no evidence, I don't think, against no actual real evidence against Prince Andrew. And although Prince Andrew may have been a wild child, as Terry from Oregon has said, and not bringing honor to the family, but they're getting him on something that's fake and not something that's real. That typically happens too sometimes. People get caught up in something that's fake and not something that's real. There was probably real criticisms against Derek Chauvin, but they got him on something fake, not a real issue. So
that dude is innocent, man. That dude is totally innocent. And I mean, it's like everything is fake. So
you gotta allow people to be evil if they're gonna be evil.
Yeah.
And it's not. And you don't have to pounce on every lie with the truth.
Yeah, because that's feminine. That's very feminine to pounce on and argue. It's like being a quarrelsome female.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
I see that in me. That's the mama spirit in me.
Yeah.
But the father spirit is just, you know, let him talk. Let him be stupid.
Yeah.
You know? He'll learn. He'll figure it. Be patient. It's patience is what it is.
Yeah.
And,
right on. So I don't know the answer, but I'm with you. We shouldn't judge brainwashed people, including ourselves.
Right. And last thing on our future president.
Yes, sir.
The way I see him, his whole claim to fame was that he's like a mini version of Trump. You know, he wears suits. He wore the MAGA hat when he first blew up, and he speaks he speaks his mind, kind of like Trump does. I like his toxic masculinity. But isn't he anti-Trump now?
I don't
That's
know.
the whole.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
He
I
could
know he's
be.
anti-JD, right? I know most of.
He has very strong criticisms for Trump. Some of them are fair, probably. Some of them
Are they fair?
Some of them are probably unfair.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't name one hardly. You know, I can name maybe, I don't know, the Israel thing, which might be a little unfair, and the immigration thing, which is maybe a lot unfair. But I don't even really listen to him enough to know what his criticisms are, because I only hear the people who repeat what they hear from either him or somebody else, because it's on the right, on the quote unquote far right, it's very bandwagonish feeling. It feels to me very bandwagonish to be anti-Trump, and so the bandwagoners are repeating stuff that seems to make sense to them, but it's out of just repeating what they've heard. They don't really know what they're talking about. Kind of like what Popcorn says. So I think that he really, Derek, our black producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, says he loves Trump as a guy, but not as a politician. He's anti-MAGA for sure, though. But that's partly because, you know, what Joe from New York said was that MAGA has been bandwagoned and co-opted by rhinos and lamos and imposters. And just as Christianity has, just as the Tea Party did back in the day. So I don't really pay too much attention to what he says. And it's not that I don't think that he's smart. I think he's brilliant. But I'm busy and also you just shouldn't be too attached to the things people say, because Trump will say something and then you take it as though what he said has already happened. Like he'll say something tough about Iran. Oh, we're at war with Iran. And we may end up being at war with Iran. I don't know, but you're way ahead of reality, because Trump will say many things that don't necessarily come to pass, at least not in the way you're thinking.
Yeah. And
same with Nick, and Cernovich too says crazy things, and I just take it with a grain of salt. Like he may be posturing for political purposes to push an agenda, which is a valid thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just see. I barely even follow politics or the news. I never watch the news.
Yeah.
I do watch you. I just know that we would have had Hillary in 2016. The only one who could have stopped her was Trump.
Yeah.
The only one who could have saved us from Kamala was Trump.
Yeah.
So just that alone, I don't care what he does now.
Yeah.
Like there's no one else who could have saved us from Hillary. There's no one else who could have saved us from Kamala.
Right.
And if anybody turns on him, you're just a Mike Pence. You're a Marjorie Trader Green to me.
Yeah.
You know? So
that's fair. I mean, just look at the man. Like the man is a man, and he's his own man. There's no man like him who's alive today, other than maybe our future president and JLP, and like there's like a precious few handful of men who are like that man, and truly independent, truly like real.
Right. And that's what everybody wants. That's why we like Nick in the first place.
Right.
That's why we like, that's the whole, like, that's his whole, it's like if, yeah, well, he can't go against Trump, because that's what made him what he is, you know, that's what we like about him, you know, so I don't know. That's how I see it, but, you know,
But it's his job to be as a political commentator and a man of influence, because he influences a lot of people, to be the voice that is...
To disagree. I like disagreement.
Not just to disagree, but push and pressure the administration to the right, because there's a lot of pressure for the administration to the left. The squeaky wheel, you know? So
where is the line between that pressuring?
What? You cut out there. I think you went on mute, maybe, or maybe something on our end. Josh going once. Let me put Josh on hold. Derek is checking on Josh. Let me get to Alan in Michigan in the meantime, y'all. Alan, how you doing, sir? Oh, no. I wonder if there's something on our end. Let me put Alan on hold. Check on Alan, see if you can hear him. There may be something funny with our system. We may have to start the stack over again or something crazy. I wonder if it's the rain, because it's not like it's hot out here. It's only 52 and cloudy out. It has been pretty warm out. Are the phones all silent there, Derek? Complicated business. You're going to have to mute it. Okay. I'll mute the phones and we'll turn off. Call back, y'all, in a few minutes. Call back in a few minutes. Nice. Thank you, Derek. Looking out. In the meantime, let me get back to these super chats, which is nice. It's good timing. Coffee from none other than Ronnie in Ohio, as requested by, I think, Anthony, perhaps. Ronnie from Ohio bought a coffee. My brother Hake, thank Anthony for this coffee. Thank you, Anthony, for your prompting Ronnie to give a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. His comments are in quotations, and my responses are preceded by a dash, double hyphen. Ronnie says, it should be understood government involvement in marriage isn't about celebrating love, but incentivizing behaviors that benefit society, stable families, responsible parenting, population sustainability. That's what I was trying to tell Ronnie, that it's good for society for men and women to marry and raise their own children in the right way. And that may be probably a reason why we give special treatment to marriage, real marriage. And he's like, every marriage doesn't produce a child. But anyway, and maybe even the marriages that don't produce a child, but that are, quote unquote, real marriages between a man and a woman, where they're faithful to one another, maybe that's good for society too, even if they're not raising a child, maybe in some way. But the overarching thing is, to make a family. Same-sex unions don't advance that interest in the same way. Yeah, because if they adopt, it's nice to adopt, but you're setting a bad example being like this fake married thing in that sense. Now, in other ways, maybe you're civilized, because there could be more or less civilized so-called gays. There's a spectrum of civilization amongst even the lost, we'll call them. Anyway, he's speaking on why the government is involved in marriage. So I don't think you or I ever discussed that. I did discuss that. I tried to anyway. I said it benefits society. So any conclusions Anthony arrived at regarding my views would involve assumptions. I suppose so. I suppose you never discussed it, even though I brought it up, Ronnie. In addition, redefining marriage to remove the man-woman criterion opens the door to further redefinitions, polygamy, polyamory, maps, because the logic becomes any loving, consenting relationship. This would erode marriage's exclusivity, monogamy norms, and further destabilize the institution amid already high divorce rates and out-of-wedlock births. And Ronnie says this isn't, and that's another thing that I had brought up. And just the thing itself is just off. It's wrong by itself. You don't even have to bring up polyamory or polygamy and maps, but it is the slippery slope is real. This isn't addressing any argument I made, so maybe this should be directed at people who support and argue for polygamy. I'm not one of those people, shrugs off Ronnie. What about the fact that the slippery slope is real? Because people say slippery slope is a fallacy in that it doesn't address the point itself, but it's true in that it's what happens. Okay, so, but yeah, that by itself is wrong and not good for society. And he admits that, but Ronnie does admit that it's not good for society. I don't think that he admitted that it's bad for society. Although I don't get how it could be not good for society, but not bad for society. I guess there's some things that are just not even a moral issue. But this is not one of those things that's not a moral issue. It's one of the things that is a moral issue. Anyway, lastly, virtually every society throughout history defined marriage as an opposite sex, even non-religious ones, Greece, Rome, Enlightenment thinkers. This cross-cultural universality, said Anthony, suggests is rooted in human nature, biology, reason, rather than mere bigotry or religion, as naive liberals would claim, or personal preference, as he had falsely accused me of just being shallow and personal or selfish or something like that. Anyway, changing it arbitrarily ignores accumulated wisdom about practices that have historically sustained society. Today, in 2026, numerous societies, nations, countries have legalized so-called same-sex marriage, including Greece, which Anthony referenced, France, Germany, Norway, Slovenia, and numerous other European nations are on the list, and many countries in the Americas. Of Africa's 54 nations, only one recognizes so-called same-sex marriage, and that's South Africa. Laughing face with tears coming out. Terrible. Terrible. The one bad thing about those whites in South Africa, if those whites are the ones to blame, I don't know. Oops, I spit. Don't spit in the studio, Hake. It baffles me how normalizing homosexuality has opened the door, says Anthony, to transgender malicious. But you're not really addressing the issue. We're talking about millennia throughout history, thousands of years, and now you're just talking about, oh, these other, we want to join the dung pile, sir? You're not really addressing his argument, sir, Ronnie. This is a big, so far you're getting a big fat F for fail, says to Ronnie. It baffles me how normalizing so-called homosexuality has opened the door to transgender. You have not addressed one single point of his. Although you could say, I agree with you. You could do anyway. It baffles me how normalizing it has opened the door to transgender militias, yet liberals still defend this degeneracy to appease selfishly a tiny minority at the expense of society's greater good. This also doesn't apply to my views or any arguments I've made saying gay people should be allowed to legally get married does not equal normalizing homosexuality. Says you, Ronnie. It does mean that. It does mean that, sir. You're not, it does mean that. That's what you're doing. Note that these arguments aim to be purely secular by focusing on biology, child welfare, state incentives, social stability, and rational tradition, rather than because God says so. If Ronnie would like to respond, it should be done in a coffee format, blah, blah, blah. I will also note that these arguments... so he won't be able to use advanced sophistry and habitual stonewalling. He's able to stonewall right here in this coffee, sir. I will also note these arguments are a result of Anthony being in his imagination, alleges Ronnie. How so? Wait, none of those arguments are in his... He's just presenting an argument against so-called same-sex marriage. The very same arguments I made, just in different words, except I didn't mention the thousands of years one. Him inferring things from what I've said does not mean I said or implied such things. Don't hold me accountable for the thoughts that Anthony failed to take into captivity. Claims, the black is calling the other guy black. The pot is calling the kettle black, or the pot is calling the teacup black. Anyway, don't hold me accountable for the thoughts he failed to take into captivity. He may have been better served just observing those thoughts rather than linking me and my views to those in his imagination. But I don't know if he even accused you of having any views other than stonewalling, which you did, and sophistry, which you kind of, I don't know if it was sophistry, but you didn't really answer his issues. Okay, where did we leave off? Rather than linking me and my views to those in his imagination. But you're assuming that that he was imagining those things. But anyway, outside of liberal propaganda pushing binaries such as equity or equality, which he swallowed this equity, equality thing and so-called rights thing. You know, he swallowed that you have a right to be wrong to mean that the government should allow you to be wrong. The world doesn't make sense. And the government should allow you to be wrong in some ways, but this is not one of. There's no evidence. There's no argument for letting this be that way. I'm still not seeing where I come into this picture, says Ronnie. He doesn't see, Anthony. He doesn't see. My perspective, which could be wrong, is simply this. The U.S. government should not allow straight people to enter into a marriage contract while also denying that right to so-called gay people. See? P.S. If same-sex marriage bothers a U.S. citizen that much, see, now he's what much? How much? What did Anthony say that suggests that he's bothered or anybody's bothered? Some people are bothered, and if you're bothered, you should check yourself and not be bothered. Like Josh and George has said, don't judge the brainwashed people, be it Ronnie or the same-sex so-called couple or the people who are in favor of the gay agenda. They could consider moving elsewhere where it is illegal, suggests the troll Ronnie in Ohio, i.e. most of Africa, parts of Asia, etc. If there are too many black people in this country for their comfort level, there are 194 other countries they could move to. Have a good weekend, my brother. Dark black arm emoji. Relatively light-skinned, strong white arm emoji. Wow, look how strong-looking Hake's little arm is. And salute emoji. Thank you, sir. At this point, just call me Mike with a couple of coffees here. Let me close and reopen. Gotta be quicker than that, says Michael in Canada, because he clicked on me. And then he said, good Lord, Ronnie, this coffee is way too long. Shocked eyes emoji. Indeed, sir. But no, it was okay. It would have been longer. It would have been less long had I... Hake, you were just reading two girls arguing, and it's not morally straight. I don't see Anthony as being girly in his presenting of his case. Hake, simply out of luck. S-O-O-L. Simply out of luck. Don't type S-O-L, kids. I'm not bothered, but I will call them evil, says Denbro. Right on. Okay, man, I think I closed up this one by accident. Let me open up this fan funding thing. Okay. It looks like I'm pretty well, hopefully, caught up. So I have 40 minutes, I think. I don't know. I can't do math. I guess Josh and Georgia disconnected. Let me get to Alan in Michigan. I think this will hopefully work. Oh, here, let me unmute. Alan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir.
I want to address, at this point, just call me Mike. He had a question yesterday, and I want to respond to it. He was asking about how a theocracy or what a theocracy is or how it would work. And I just want to make this it's a big subject. And I'll basically start with one verse of Scripture from Exodus 18 in verse 21, and it says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, that would be Christians, of course, in our time, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place them over you to be rulers over thousands. Hello?
Yes, no, sorry, I was, that was a computer noise, but I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Rulers over thousands, rulers over hundreds, rulers over 50s, and rulers over 10. This is a second witness in Deuteronomy, and I won't quote it because for brevity. But basically, the function of government was to start from the family. Because let's face it, I mean, most men, as leaders of the family, only really know 10 people or maybe 15 people intimately. And in a biblical system where every family has land, they will be your neighbors. And you select, or I should say elect, one man out of that 10 that you know, hey, this is a guy that is a Christian, he's a believer, he has my best interest and my family's at heart because he has a family. Then they choose out of them 50, they choose out of these 50 men, another 50, then it goes to 100, and then it goes to 1,000. And I calculated that you could basically have the entire population of the United States represented by one man. Well, he'd be the president or the Moses, you might say. The problem is that changed, and we made a big mistake in the book of Samuel when Israel wanted a king. I could go into who really wanted this, but in any case, Samuel warned the people, this is the kind of king you're going to get. He's going to take the tithe away from you. He's going to appoint, this is very important, he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over 50s, and with them to set them to ear his ground and to reap his harvest. So, well, what happened to the rulers over tens? That was eliminated. And now, from that point right to the present day, we have nothing but kings. Now, we can call them presidents, we can call them Lord Protectors, czars, comrade, or whatever, but these are basically the problems we have. God saw this happening, but it's interesting how God solves this. He says, okay, you don't want to have, you don't want me as your king. You want to have a man as your king. But guess what? Through the line of David, who came out of the line of David, Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And he is the king. So when he said the stone which the builders rejected has become the top. Well, this is a pyramid where you have and a pyramid, by the way, for those who are interested, some scholars call it the Bible in stone. But in any case, the base of a pyramid, the very corner of the pyramid, is the same shape as the top. So, okay, you rejected Christ and wanted a king? Well, guess what? Yeah, you're going to get a king, but it's going to be Christ. So it's, I think this is
Oh, no.
highest level.
Okay.
Yeah, they're. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought the capstone
Last-
was that central stone in like an arch. Am I wrong?
Oh no, I'm talking about a pyramid.
Oh, but the
pyramid.
stone the builders rejected has become the capstone. I thought the capstone was the capstone of an arch. But are you saying it's the capstone, the pyramid, the top of the pyramid?
Actually, what you're showing in your picture, that top stone is called a keystone, not a capstone.
Oh, okay. So
A
the
capstone is only in a pyramid. Mm-hmm.
has become the capstone. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That would be a
and
pyramid.
that's Jesus.
Jesus Christ. So it's God plans these things out. There's two words in Greek going to the New Testament.
So that's the type of see, because of
That's the
time
type
I
of
have
government.
to run, but that's the type of
Sure.
Of theocracy, meaning chosen by the locals choose their top guy for
Right.
the 50s
Representative.
and then the thousands and then the tens of thousands and then the king was meant to be God, and we didn't need a king when we were the plain Israelites without a king. But God spoke to Moses. But now, like, we were like, oh, we want a king to be like the other nations. And he's like, you're not going to like that. And so Israel was no longer a theocracy at that point, huh?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. It turned into a kingdom
Yeah.
And of course, then we have history beyond that. Can I add just something extra? This is kind of something different.
Okay.
One of your callers said, I think it was the man from Canada, said, well, we're just so little people and everything. Well, let me tell you something. In Ecclesiastes 9:15, if people want to look that up, it talks about a man that nobody knew in the city. A great army came against the city, and this man saved the city, but yet nobody knew who that man was. You see, God uses the unknowns, not the mighty. He can use Nebuchadnezzar and other people as his instruments, but also people that you've never heard about and you never will hear about until the resurrection, when their works are brought before God.
Nice.
So don't think that just because you're one person and you see this huge Babylonian system which has unlimited funds and armies and arms. No, God's in charge. Just like the tabernacle, which is a very modest, portable tent, and yet they were able to bring down the walls of Jericho with it. So forget about these big ziggurats and all this impressive stuff we see that man builds. It's nothing compared to the power of God, which was in the Ark of the Covenant. And in the daytime it was a cloud, and then at night it was a fire. And this was a tremendous, tremendous thing for people to see. And that's where the real power lies, not in the works of man, as impressive as they are and how dazzling they are.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it there. And, okay, that's just about it. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I always like to hear the other callers. And, geez, what happened to Mark? He usually calls in some good stuff. Or Hayden.
He may be up shortly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for taking my call.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Speak of the man, Mark Los Angeles, I believe, is on the line here. How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm just watching President Trump talk about the tariffs that were shot down by the same rotten devils on the Supreme Court that made homo marriage legal.
Yep.
They ruled against Trump's 2020 court hearing to have the election reviewed, and they refused. It's all Roberts. But Amy Coney Barrett and that other bozo, I can't think of his name, not Kavanaugh, but the other guy.
Gorsuch.
Yeah, they're scum of the earth. They're cowards. They're being threatened by the left. That's what Trump is talking about as we speak.
Nice.
And it's evil. The courts are our enemies.
Yeah.
Not just the Supreme Court. They've got to be defied.
Yeah.
They've got to be defied. I want Trump to be a dictator.
Me too.
If that hurts anybody's feelings, where they can go.
They can go
now,
to HE double toothpicks.
Right. Well, that's where they're
Sorry.
going anyway. And that includes Ronnie. Anybody that condones homo marriage is bound for hell, and he deserves it. I hope you're listening, Ronnie. If you got a problem with that, call in right now.
Well,
I'll talk it out with you.
Be patient with the useful idiot to the communists. I know it's not. I know they're totally wrong. I know they're totally evil.
It's demonic.
It is.
It's not just wrong, Ronnie. Ronnie, you're demonic. You're not just wrong. You're evil and demonic, just like the voters voted to stop homo marriage in every state that it was on the ballot. So when that scumbag says move to Africa if you don't like it, no, he's the one that needs to move.
Well, nobody's moving. Nobody's going to move. Let's stick with reality here.
I mean, just to say that shows his evil and his arrogance.
That's what he wanted to do, I think, was he wanted to tick somebody off.
Well, he succeeded.
Yeah.
But all he did was expose himself as the devil.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk. This is what I called for.
Yes, sir.
I tried to get on Jesse. He won't take my calls. Jesse Lee Peterson refuses to take my calls, and that's fine. And the only reason I bring it up is because people in the chat are saying I never called Jesse. Well, today's effort is one of the reasons I don't. And I'm not into marriage problems. I don't want to hear about somebody's problem with their spouse.
But how do you know that he won't take your call if you only tried
I waited
once?
an hour. I know an hour to you is nothing. It is a lot to me.
I
And he was
understand.
just talking crap. He was talking crap
Crap?
about everything. Yeah, crap. But anyway,
So he
I don't
wasn't
wanna
saying
get into
anything
that
of value?
because he's your boss. Pardon me?
Jesse said nothing of value today. What you
Not
had to
that
say
I
was
heard.
what you had to say was more important.
Well, I only listened for about an hour, and most
Right.
of the time he had a couple of dingbats
If you keep
talking
on,
about
if
their
you,
husband.
if you, not, I'm not telling you to, but were you to keep on calling and keep on holding, he would get to you. It's just that he wasn't able to get to you. A lot of people call and call
I've
and they
got
don't
things-
get through, and it's not that he
Sure.
doesn't want to. It's just that he doesn't get to.
Yeah, well,
And I
whatever.
thought that today's show was overall quite good, but one man's crap is another man's treasure.
Well, okay, let me get to my point. But
Okay.
before I do, would you have said, even if the show was bad, his show, would you have said it? Even if the show was terrible. If Jesse had a terrible show,
Mhm.
would you admit it?
I don't know.
The answer is no. Okay, now
you
here's
don't know that. I just
if
said I
you
don't know.
Answer, I noticed, and I'm not mad. I'm not, trying to put you down. But I do notice that every time I ask a direct question, I never get an answer. I mean, never. And I'm just not talking about what we talked about yesterday.
Today we
on the
talked about
yesterday-
36 years of Bond. That part's not crap. That's kind of worth mentioning, even though it was
No,
a
I'm
couple
talking
weeks
about
late.
your show yesterday.
We talked about you're talking about JLP's show was an hour of it was crap. Okay, is what you claimed.
Yeah.
The
I hope he's
beginning
listening.
was a rough start. He wasn't talking, so there was no crap said. He had a
That's
call
crap
with
in itself.
that
It's
part
supposed to
is
be a
I
talk
agree with you. That's bad itself. There, see?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the call in the first hour, a man who had an angry wife, that was a great call. And then this gal, she hugged her mom, and is that okay? That might be questionable to like somebody like you or me. We might not have patience for that, but you have to have patience with the lost woman. There was an F Trump.
Not on my time.
There was an
Not
okay.
on
Well,
my
you
time.
can hang up. You're being
I
kind of
did.
unclassy. But anyway, I don't know if you even called at that point. There was this F Trump advertisement. That wasn't crap. That was worth mentioning. Trump at the
Yeah, I
Black
remember.
History Month and the white ladies given that was a 4-alarm or 5-alarm national emergency. These white ladies catering to black people for Black
Oh, they're
History Month.
evil.
That's it. That
they're
was not.
doomed for
That
hell.
was not crap. That was worth covering. And then the
Well,
Bond
okay, that's
36th
your
anniversary, and then the Christian Nation stuff and the school indoctrination stuff. None of that was crap. There were some callers some callers are always good. Not every caller is going to be awesome, but the biblical question, how to stay with it, that was worth it. Brandy, beautiful Brandy from Hawaii, asking about Jesse Jackson and the end of the civil rights movement, and a black man, really black guy, wanted to pay for groceries and talking about Islam. That was worth taking. Eva wanted to overcome something from 20 years ago. That was worth it. Beverly had a very brief call saying, "Great work, honey." That was not bad. Louis from Arizona said a brief thank you. Kaylee from Florida, she was very disturbed by something, but she can't homeschool her kids. That was not crap. Brody had a great call. He was 16. No, you said the Jesse Lee Peterson show was crap, and I'm proving
It was.
I'm proving
No,
that it was
I'm gonna
not.
stand by that.
And
I'm standing by that.
I stand by my respectful disagreement that it was crap.
That's fine.
His mother died. He's 16 years old. His mother died 3 years ago, and he's asking how to forgive. But let it be known, do you consider that crap?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you
I'm
consider
not
it crap
interested.
that a 16-year-old is asking for help, and
What's Jesse going to do? What's he going to do about it?
He gave him the best advice.
Okay, great.
All right.
Now, can I get to my point, please?
Yeah.
Okay. It refers to Epstein Island, which I know isn't your favorite subject, but I do have some new info that might make you happy. First off, this isn't it. That's part two. A man by the name of Wexner from Ohio. He's a Jewish billionaire and a pervert. He was financing Epstein Island. He was the financier. This all came out in the files. He was, and they tried to delete it. But Massey and Kalana, or whatever his name is, Mokana, who I'm not a fan of.
Right.
But they got it before Pam Bondi could delete it, and it shows Wexner, the billionaire pervert, financed Epstein.
Now,
Island.
I disclaim what you're saying. I don't know this guy. I don't. I would
Google it.
No, but you're claiming that he's a pervert, and I have no idea who
Well,
you're
he
even
was
talking
at
about.
Epstein Island all those times. He
A
was
person
doing
who goes to every person who went to it's Little St. James Island is not a pervert.
Well, that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, then why are you making it a claim if you don't even know what you're talking about?
Because I believe it's true. Did you ever see the guy? Did you ever see the guy?
I don't even know who you're talking about. No, of course not.
I just told you his name's Wexner. He's from Columbus, Ohio, and the Rhino governor is refusing to take his name off of some buildings. DeWine is a scumbag rhino. But here's the good news.
Are you referring to Les Wexner?
That's the one. Okay.
I don't know. You're reading too much into his face. The physiognomy. He is human, so he could well be perverted. Most human beings are. Anyway,
okay.
Well, spare me the side comment about pervert and just tell me what you wanted to tell me, I guess.
Well, the other thing is, and I hope this should make you happy and maybe reconsider your view on Epstein Island. The demonic hags from The View, they were on the list. Whoopi Goldberg and Joe Behar, those two demons, they were on the list. They were at Epstein Island. And when they were on their show yesterday, which I never watched, but I saw the clips of it. Oh, we were only there to borrow his airplane, Behar said. And Goldberg said, we were only there to go to party. I mean, they caught these devils in the act. And you want to deflect from Epstein Island when these demons like Wexner or whatever his name is, and these two demons from The View, these hags, they were denying. They were saying that they were on your team before their names came out. They were saying, oh, this is racist to investigate Epstein Island. Oh, this is anti-Semitic to investigate Epstein Island. This is what they were saying. And you were, I'm not mad. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just saying at that time, you were on board with them.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I never was on board with calling it anti-Semitic to talk about Epstein. Do you mind not talking when I'm talking because we can't?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I never claimed that it was anti-Semitic to go after Epstein the drama, and I never was on board with that accusation. Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar are longtime co-hosts on The View, and you're claiming that they were on the so-called list that they went.
Yeah, they admitted it. They couldn't deny it anymore. You watched The View, yesterday's View. They admitted. They said, we were there, and Behar's argument was she was there, listen to this one, to borrow his airplane. Who borrows airplanes? And number two, and this was after it was revealed that Epstein was even. Now, you can't deny me to say Epstein is a pervert. Come on, he was convicted. Oh, remember, he may still be alive. We don't know because Israel is protecting him because Maxwell, his girlfriend, whatever, her father was a Mossad agent. I don't want to relive the Epstein Island debate with you. The files were released. Pam Bondi did as much redacting as she could. Fortunately, and I normally don't like Thomas Massey, but he was good on this one. He was able to get Wexman's name out before it was redacted. Thank you, Thomas Massey. Okay, we'll probably never arrest enough people who were perverted over there like that Prince. You say there's no evidence. They don't arrest somebody if they don't have something on him.
Sure they do.
Here's what I want to ask you. Aren't you happy to see these files exposing these left-wing demons and perverts? You should be out. You should be happy. You should be celebrating. Hey, we got them. We know that pedophiles are running our world politic right now. We know that. Hitler did it back in the 30s, and we know it today.
Well, we didn't need any. To answer your question, no, I'm neither happy nor unhappy that those files were released. If anything, it's a disservice to the people, really. Number two, we already knew they were perverted without needing any Epstein files. Just look at what they stand for. The LGBT stuff, same-sex so-called marriage, abortion, condom passing out, birth control. Those are all perverted, evil things that don't need to be pushed, but they push it. So we already knew that they're perverted. We don't need the Epstein files, to my knowledge, haven't proven anything.
Well, that's because you don't want it to.
What makes you think that I would want or not want it to?
Just from the things you're saying. We've got Wexner. Aren't you happy? We got the guy who financed Pervert Island. You should be happy, but I know you
I don't
may
know
have
what
taken
we
the
got
$7
him
grand,
means. It's just,
and because you may have taken the $7,000, you have to say nice things about Jews. So
that doesn't mean anything. You're just you're deep in your head.
Well, no, I asked you yesterday if you accepted money. You refused to answer.
No, I said it's none of your business, which is not.
Well, that's the same thing. You don't answer direct questions. About a year ago, and I don't mean
why is it your business? Answer me that.
Because it'll show that you have a bias toward the Jews.
No, it won't.
If you accepted the money, it will.
And no, it won't. And you already know that I have a bias towards the Jews because I love the Jews and you hate them. So you already know where I stand. So what do you need? What do you need about somebody's donation or not?
7,000 tells me this. Okay.
So in other words, you can't tell me why it's your business.
No, it tells me that your refusal to talk about Epstein Island and the evil that it was.
No, I like talking about it because I like looking at how crazy you guys are.
You didn't want the files released.
Yeah, because it's stupid.
You could say you did, but I know you didn't.
Trump said no. I didn't. I never said that I wanted them released. I was with Trump on that.
Well, I knew Trump wasn't on them, but that was what the Democrats.
No, but Trump said there is going to be many people who are innocent who are going to get falsely accused, just like you're doing right now.
I'm not okay. So Whoopi Goldberg, you believe her story? You believe I
don't believe them.
Was using his airplane.
I believe you about as much as I believe them, which is not at all.
Yeah, that's an easy one. You know, I remember about maybe a year ago. I can't remember, maybe 2 years. We had a debate. I was talking with Kentucky John, who I noticed hasn't been calling in, regarding Thomas Jefferson and whether he was a hypocrite or a racist, because he said all men were created equal and he had slaves. I asked you directly, straight out, was he a hypocrite or a racist? You wouldn't answer. Anytime I pose a question to you that's easy to answer, you refuse to answer, whether it's Thomas Jefferson or the Epstein Island thing, the files, or the money from Israel. You simply refuse to answer. And I'm not mad at you. Don't misunderstand. It's your show. I'm just saying this is constructive criticism. You refuse to answer direct questions. And you could say, it's my show, I don't have to. That's a cop-out, but that's okay. But I can always know if I asked you the other day, if you were on the Grayson jury, would you have convicted? You said, I don't know. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, man. A 5-year-old kid could answer that question. You know, these questions are not hard. They're not trick questions. They're just questions you won't answer, which is your right. You know, you have a right not to answer, but it's just not fair to the audience. And just to reiterate,
that's kind of dumb. All of your questions are dumb and have any audience member who needs to know any of those questions is just nosy and judgmental like you. But no, sir,
see, I normally don't ask about donations to you.
Yeah, and the only reason that you ask is because you're way in your head. Ron, Mark, I gotta go.
Okay, I got one last thing if you let me. I have a slogan for Nick Fuentes' 2032 presidential run. Can I give it to you? I'm going to recommend it to Nick. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
The Jews are through in 32.
Ooh.
The Jews are through in 32. That should be Nick Fuentes' slogan.
I bet you by 32 he's going to like the Jews.
Well, we'll see. In that case, the slogan goes
like you
away.
said, he's turned on the H-man.
He had to, though.
According
in a
to
way.
you, I haven't kept up with it.
No, I heard him. I heard Nick say it. I listened to his broadcast.
You're not exactly a reliable source.
Well, what have I lied about? Tell me one lie. One lie.
You've misjudged me, so you may be
That's
misinterpreting
not a lie.
Mark. It's a lie. You're repeating a lie in your head.
Misinterpreting who?
Satan lied to you in your head, and you repeat it because it's
No,
dumb.
you're thinking of Glenn Beck. It was Glenn Beck that talked to God. I got to tell you this. Didn't Jesse say, but I'll let you go.
Okay.
Didn't Jesse say when you hear voices and you think they're coming from God, they're actually coming from Satan? I know Jesse said that if you hear voices and you think God's talking to you, it's actually Satan. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So isn't Glenn Beck listening to Satan to support Israel? Aren't those words coming from Satan? According to Jesse, they are.
Quite possibly.
If you're hearing talk. So then if you support Israel, you support Satan.
No, not necessarily, because I didn't hear from the Lord to support Israel. I grew up that way, and just like I grew up Christian.
Beck did.
Yeah,
we're
Glenn
talking
Beck.
about
But all support for Israel is not equal. So Trump supports Israel in the right way. Jesse Lee supports Israel in the right way. And then there's other people who support Israel in the wrong way.
Well, and either way, you're supporting a government that takes $4 to $6 billion.
Yeah, I know. But there's wrong things that all governments do. We support America, but the American government is messed up too.
We don't have to give Israel 5 cents. We don't have to give them 5 cents.
All right.
We don't owe them a dime.
Appreciate your call. And I got a couple of super chats related to you. Moses P says, Mark is LOL. Mark is funny. He woke up with the smoke. We still love you, Mark, laughing with tears. LOL, get him, Hake. Mark is a little grumpy today. Fire salute. And so that's
that was from who? Oh, what did Michael say about me? I didn't hear the beginning of the show. Was he running me down too? That guy from Canada, I guess.
He just said that. He loves you, but you ought to be a little bit more respectful and understanding about being on hold for a long time.
Well, I won't disagree with some of that. But here's the thing, Hake.
Yeah.
And then I know you're in a hurry to go. It's not so much the waiting. It's the characters that you put on that hold up everybody for 40 minutes at a crack. Do we need to hear from Ronnie for 40 minutes? He talks trash. Nothing he says is right. And you give him 40 minutes. And then this other guy calls after him, and you give him another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's 2 calls and over half your show. It's not so much the wait, Hake. It's the people that you're putting in front of me, and you won't let them go. I mean, was it Brandon that I spoke to the other day? He wanted to go.
Right.
And so, I mean, and one other thing, I don't care who you put me on with. I don't care if it's Mays, Kentucky John, Ronnie. I'll talk to anybody. It's not that. It's just that if you would just use a little more discretion in who you give so much time to, I feel that's constructive criticism.
I don't dispute that may be constructive criticism, sir.
Thank you, Hake, and have a good weekend. God bless you, and I hope everything goes well.
All right, and you as well. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Super chat from Popcorn. Popcorn says, I think I have a clearer picture of your stance now. Nice. You aren't as interested in whether something is legal or allowed according to the Constitution. You primarily look through it at the lens of one, who's doing it in the case of the Great White Hope. B, I generally agree with that person. In this case, you do. C, do I think that what they're doing should be allowed? In this case, you do. So since all 3 of those boxes are checked, like expressly granted powers, who is authorized to do what, checks and balances, you aren't interested in. You're not arguing about what the Constitution says or doesn't say. It's more about what you think should be allowed. I'm following your framework now. I don't agree with it, but I understand your mindset. Yeah, Popcorn, I think that you may be right on that. I don't fully comprehend it because I'm a little distracted because I'm running low on time. But when you bring up the Constitution, a lot of these judges are not ruling on the Constitution. They're ruling on this or that law or this or that ruling. You didn't follow my ruling. You didn't just follow precedent, judicial precedent, and stuff like that. And a lot of times precedent has nothing to do with the Constitution. When you look at the Constitution, I think it's maybe in the Constitution that we should enforce immigration law, you know? But the judges are basically restricting Trump from enforcing the immigration law in the case of that Sunshine Gal. And in the case of tariffs, I have no idea. This is exactly right. I have no idea about the constitutionality or not of Trump himself doing these tariffs. But I love that Trump is a man of action and he's going to do what he can get away with doing for the sake of the country. Because clearly those tariffs are for the sake of the country, Popcorn. And these people are just hating Trump, basically. Oh, by the way, Trump, Popcorn, let me tell you briefly. You and I had these arguments a year or so ago, plus or minus, about whether tariffs were a tax on the people, whether the people pay for the tariffs. Well, it turns out a lot of those foreign companies that were exporting and were importing to us, those foreign importers, they paid for most of those tariffs. And then some of the importers, the companies, whether they're American or not, is up for debate. They too ate some of those tariffs. And then the other people who are like selling stuff, that are selling goods to Americans, also ate the tariffs. The American consumer or the Americans paid only 30% out of those tariffs. So yes, we paid more, but we didn't stop buying. And America brought in more money at no expense. 70% was at no expense to the American people or the American government. So yes, we brought in more money. And so you were indeed following the mainstream media's and the so-called experts' falsehoods about Americans paying all those tariffs. Americans do pay some of it, but that's that. Popcorn, Hake worldview. And a couple more super chats. Barbecue Pringle bought a coffee. Has the internet millennials deduced the fact that the world is a giant gaslight extortion ring for noble bloods? Asks Barbecue Pringle. Interesting question. I'm a millennial, internet millennial. Everything is fake indeed. Nothing is what it seems. I've witnessed it myself with people seeing something about me and totally misjudging, or seeing something about this or that, or this or that or this. And if you watch, you can see it in your own life. You yourself jump into conclusions, or other people jump into conclusions about you or about other things, and you happen to know the real deal, and it's not like what they think. And so you may be, yeah, there's a whole lot of mess. Ronnie from Ohio. Also, I wanted to point out that the question to Mark asking what makes you a Christian didn't come from me. Yeah, Ronnie, I think it might have been somebody else. I did like his answer, though, and I'm in agreement with it. What I asked you to do was to point him to Galatians 1:10 and 3:28 and to get his thoughts. Galatians 1:10 and 3:28. And I don't have time to look that up right now because I have another super chat here. Everblazer, buy me a coffee, won't let me donate again after deleting cookies. Emoji with a bubble or something. Have a great weekend, everybody. Celebration hands, thumbs up hand. You may have to. I'll show you what I do, sir. So if you go over here, and you go to the cookies, manage the cookies. You delete. You may even delete those too, but I don't want to do it in front of you right now. But anyway, that and sometimes I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, you already did it and it worked once for you, and then this time it didn't work for you. I gotta go, though. I have 20 seconds. So peace in the Middle East, y'all, or at least in your hearts. The American anchor baby is happening after the fallen state. I gotta get out of here. So callers, the rest of you, Steven, Ryan, everybody else, catch you, see you on American Anchor Baby or next week, hopefully. Bye. I'm way past time. Take care, y'all.